Hey YouTube, Tambrolo here once again. I just looked on my system and I have 3DMark Vantage. I don't even remember installing this, but clicked on it. It's got a whole bunch of built-in benchmarks. I've never run these before, but playing with that P106 card that I have, which again, it's equivalent to a GTX1060, just doesn't have any output ports on it, so you've got to run it through your onboard video. You can look at my past videos for how that all works. But yeah, it really does run fine. You don't have to go into your control panel and mess with settings. All you do is just change your global setting in the NVIDIA app, and you just turn on global 3D processing, make it the P106, and everything just runs just like it would with a GTX 1060. So I don't know if this is like a newer cutting edge benchmark, or it's kind of a legacy benchmark. I really don't know, but I'm getting 100 odd frames per second on that one. And now we're going to fire up new Calico. This is a first for me, any of these. I have not run any of these before. Maybe they run well, maybe they don't. I don't know. Let's find out. What is next? Okay, you're getting 120-ish frames per second. Now we're getting 230 frames per second. Oh, now it's at 65 frames per second.
Okay.
42, oh, got to 40 just for a split second. Now it's at 70 odd. And it's looking good. 44, 45. So feel free to comment like what the expectation is for gaming. If you know, hardcore refresh rates minimum 60 are required. Maybe, I don't know, depends who you ask. I've always been content as long as I'm getting at least 30 ever. If it can do 30, I can't see any choppiness in that. Anyway, this part, it's at 130 frames per second. Looks good to me. Working fine. And the card's working hard. I can hear the cooling fan on it slowly speeding up. And got about 60 frames per second here. Now it's at 120 frames per second. That's all looking pretty good. And again, I bought this card over a year ago now, and at the time it was $138 Canadian. It's pretty much $100 US, give or take, $100. And again, there's outside glare, so if you're seeing glare up in that corner, it's just the sun hitting. Oh, I missed what benchmark this is. And I don't see an FPS option or indicator along the bottom. It just shows OPS, operations, and it definitely looks choppy to me. I don't think this is necessarily meant to run smooth. I'm not sure what kind of benchmark that was. We got a crash and burn physics. Oh yeah, very choppy. It says warming up. Not much going on with this benchmark. Still just says warming up on the bottom. Oh. Yeah, it's definitely not the nicest looking benchmark there. Now we've got what looks like ray tracing. Sorry, not ray tracing. The GTX1060 doesn't do ray tracing. This said that said DX10. This is a DirectX 10 benchmark. It supports DirectX 11 and 12 also, but I guess this benchmark is for DX10. And 160 frames per second. Some kind of a light and shadow test. Feature test. It's 80 odd frames per second. Another feature test, 148 frames per second. That said feature test, FPS 311, 309. That's in the 300s FPS. There we go. So for what it's worth, I don't know what to compare this to, but there's my GPU score, my CPU score, all the frames per second on there, and 3DMark Vantage. And again, I don't even remember installing this. I don't know where this came from. No, that just gives me this. That's not much to look at. So anyway, here we go. Yeah, once again, this is just showing off the P106 and how it works. No complaints. Highly recommend it. You just have to get the right driver, version 1722, and a very quick reg edit. You can watch my first P106 video to see how to do it. You can get these cards dirt cheap, and I highly recommend it. Tambrolo out.